I've been working on something. One of the things that you guys always mention to me is, Michael, I don't know anybody in my area, like nobody. I'm like the Lone Ranger over here building my theater room for me, but I would love to be able to meet some mics in my life, to be able to talk about it and build a friendship and make some relationships. What we are missing in Florida is we don't have an organized like get-togethers. I'm working on that. So I want you to be a part of that.
Definitely.
Come to my house. We're going to invite some of you guys to come to my house. And so I finally just made the decision. I'm like, look, it's time. Hey, what is going on, guys? We are here back in the Obsessed Home Theater Lab. I got my friend here, Mike.
Thanks,
Mike traveled over from Orlando.
Yeah. Not too bad, about an hour.
So it's one of my patrons. We've been hanging out probably like twice a month on Zoom. So we do a patron call with a bunch of groups talking about our home theater. And Mike was like, hey, Michael, I'd love to come up here and check out JTR because I've never heard it, never experienced it. And a lot of you guys haven't either. You know what I think about JTR. They're my end game. But I want to just get Mike's impression, his thoughts. In this room, we're running a 7.1 system. So we've got the JTR 212 RTs. We've got the 210. Oh man, I always forget that model number. HT. I think it's the HT model. Forgive me. And then the side surrounds are the Kalos 465s. And then the rear surrounds are the 265s. And then we're running one subwoofer in this room. The room's about 18 wide. I think we're 30 feet deep, about 9 feet tall. And we're running one subwoofer, which is the JTR Captivator 4000 ULF sofa table. So, Mike, glad to have you here, man. We've been hanging out for the past couple hours. He got here about 8, and I think it is now... It's 10:30, so we've been having a good time, man. We've done tons of demos. So give me your thoughts. Maybe even what were you hoping to experience coming here, and then just your overall impressions.
Yeah. What was I hoping for? I think I got what I was hoping for. Admittedly, very, very clear. Lots and lots of headroom. No distortion. It was pretty awesome. Definitely a lot of detail in like some of the reverb trails, some of those gunshots. I mean, the room's treated pretty well. It's pretty dead in here, but you could still hear just the detail, the ringing out of everything. Dynamic range was incredible, especially honestly when you started doing some of the 2-channel stuff.
Okay,
that was really. I mean, you heard me when I was like, that sounds like that center channel's on. Like it was some of the most locked in Phantom center I've really ever heard of a 2-channel. But yeah, I mean, I think the Kalos serve as a really, really good. For like the kind of filling out the rest of the bed layer. Yeah. I thought it was cool. I mean, this is still better than like 99% of people's home theaters. Yeah. It was pretty ridiculous.
Awesome, man.
I loved the 4000. It was crazy. It was shaking the whole room. Definitely gave me that tactile feel. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty floored, honestly. Yeah. It definitely felt really good. I don't really know what I was expecting. I think maybe I was expecting it to be a little bit more fatiguing. Mm-hmm. When I hear coax drivers, I hear these compared a lot to Klipsch. I don't love the Klipsch sound signature, but this is really not that. Yeah. I could understand like how you could kind of have that pathway from like going to Klipsch to getting something that's still a little bit more laid back maybe, but not if you don't want it to. Like I could tell there's a neutral platform here where if you want to go crazy with EQ, I would expect that these take EQ pretty well if you want kind of like the Matt Mormon, very dark, not very bright, or if you do want that brightness. I like it a lot. I mean, I'm had a blast here. Thank you so much for having us. Let me check that out.
So it's cool. You had mentioned, so when we were sitting down, we finished up a bunch of demos, and then I switched over to music, and I asked Mike, I said, Mike, do you normally listen to music in like multi-channel? He's like, nah, man, I'm a 2-channel guy. I said, okay, cool. So we'll run 2-channel, one subwoofer. And it was funny because the very first song, you're like, are you in 2-channel?
Yeah.
I went, yeah. And so I went up just to make sure. And I walked up to the speaker. I went, oh, yeah, we're definitely totally off. And he's like, really? Yeah. I'm like, get up. Yeah, go check for yourself, dude.
It was pretty immediate. But
so I had you come up and listen just to make sure. And so ideally with a set of speakers, you want to be able to have that center image. And that just part of that's just positioning and plus the dynamic, or basically like the dispersion of the JTR horn. But when you get it right, you'd swear the center channel's
Yeah.
on because it locks in the dialogue from that vocalist, like they're right in front of you. And so that was cool that you picked up on that. We don't have any height speakers in here yet. That's something that we'll be adding down the road. We'll be doing some more acoustic treatment, but this is just primary. This isn't an ideal room. I mean, it's like a warehouse. So, I mean, it goes up another at least 15 feet. But this room was kind of begging for mercy just from one subwoofer, which is pretty crazy. So tell me a little bit about your system at home for the folks here.
So at home, I've got a 7.2, two subs, basically KEF Q series all around the room.
Nice.
And then two SB 1000s.
Okay.
For scale, my room is 9 feet wide by 19 foot deep.
Okay.
So I'm working with what I got.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, I mean, this definitely is a much more tactile and enveloping experience. One of the things that I always like about when I check out some of these high caliber systems is I always come away feeling like I don't hate my theater. Like I don't have that low end tactile response. I don't have this much immersion, but I'm close.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time calibrating, a lot of time trying to flatten out my sub response. And so when you can get that nailed, it's a pretty good feeling to come to a theater like this. And it's not like, 100%. I'm not going to go home and I'm going to be upset. I'm going to go home and, I mean, those are a lot of clips that I hadn't seen before on your Kaleidescape script. So I'll be going home and buying a couple of those on Blu-ray as well, especially that Furiosa.
Well, people ask me too, like, I've seen $1 million home theaters and it's like, do I, come home and go, oh, I'm the same way. It's like, no, I love what I built because I've spent time setting it up, finding the speakers that I love, the sound signature that I love, and calibrating that to my room. And so are there better systems out there? Absolutely. Am I chasing that? No.
Not really.
What I've got is what I absolutely love. And I built my room for me and you built your room for you. But I think it's cool when somebody gets a chance to experience something like a Captivator. So was that the first time, have you ever experienced like infrasonics, like really, really low frequencies?
Probably not that low.
Okay.
Like I've heard some systems with the SB16s, like four of those around. So, I mean, that gets pretty low, but I don't think that digs
so
that
they'll
deep.
get down, when I had the PB16s, I think I was getting down to about 17, maybe 16 hertz.
Not crazy.
I don't know what we're measuring here. At home with my sealed, I'm getting down to about 5, which is stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But definitely when you get into the infrasonics, that's when you really begin to feel stuff that your ears can't hear.
You just can't hear. Yep. For sure.
Ideally I'd love to have some height speakers in here because there was parts in like A Quiet Place where I know specifically it's cool to hear the monster right here, and then he moves over to here, and then he's breathing, and so then you feel the infrasonics, and then he moves back and he comes down the stairs, and each element of your room, those speakers, it just literally is exactly where you're seeing it on the screen. And so we lost that part, and during midway when they're flying over us, we've got a good solid, bed layer surround, but it's still different experience when you add those heights.
Yeah, and that's the part that, again, I don't have Atmos at home, so
So
I don't know anything. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I got a bed layer. Just got bed layer as well, which to me that emphasizes like bed layer is important.
100%.
It's where a lot of the magic happens. 100%. I mean, I've heard a few Atmos deployments that blow my mind, but. I don't know. Like this was pretty crazy for a non-Atmos system. Like I'd be happy with this. I mean, I'm happy with what I don't have at home, so it's pretty cool to.
Well, the sweet thing is you're like an hour from me, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
So I told him, I said, I want you to come in here, my room. Again, just a different perspective, different setup, sealed subs versus ported, fully treated room versus kind of treated room, much smaller room versus very big room. Fully light control versus exit sign up here, shining
onto
too
bad, honestly, but I did notice a couple times.
And kind of a budget 100-inch screen versus a 150-inch screen, and then being able to put my speakers directly behind. So I think there's a lot of different things that you'll get to experience in my home versus even here, and just give you another perspective. We're running the Kalo speakers for surrounds, side surrounds and rear surrounds. So it's kind of a hodgepodge. It's not like that's 3-way, these are 2-way.
Yeah. Those
are Kalo series. This is the regular JTR series.
But that's how a lot of us build our systems, right? Like there's no one's really gonna. I mean, some of them can, but a lot of people don't start out with the bed layer JTRs, right? We upgrade our front stage, we rock our surround backs, upgrade those like you did, right? You ran the clips.
20 years of building my system, and
absolutely.
When I first started moving towards JTR, I just had the subwoofers.
Right. Yeah.
And then it took a long time. Then I got the LCR.
Yep.
And then it took a long time. So I was running clips, surrounds, and in-ceiling clips. And then I was able to finally get the 4 Atmos height speakers and then the surrounds. And so you're right. It's about the journey. It takes time to build that. But this probably does represent a lot of you guys that, you know, you got a piece here and a piece here, and they're not like fully matched, but it's still a pretty stinking incredible experience overall.
Of course, and room EQ gets you some of the way there too. So, you know, but the way I see it is like you've inspired me a lot by just, you know, I remember reaching out about kind of starting the whole YouTube thing, and I'm like, I don't think my system's impressive enough. I don't think I'm going to be an authority on anything. And you're like, man, I built my system for me. Yeah. Build it for you. Yeah. And I just kept making improvements, and now I'm at a point where, you know, I think my system's pretty good. Yeah. Like this blew it out of the water, but not in a way that I'm going to go home and be like,
I love that.
Not like my system.
But like, see, you've reached a point that a lot of people don't reach, and that's a level of contentment.
Yeah.
But you put a lot of thought, a lot of energy, a lot of searching and figuring out what you want and what's going to meet your needs in your size room.
Absolutely.
And I've told you guys, not everybody needs a system of this level.
No.
Not everybody needs dual 18s or 418s or a Scott Newby 1018s, you know, or 2018s actually. Which is just, that just doesn't comprehend up here in my brain. But figuring out what works for you within your budget, within your goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I think we all have different goals. My goal, I knew back when I had the Klipsch RSW15s, they hit 20 hertz and they drop like a rock.
Cliff, yep.
I mean, just falls off. And I was like, man, I want more. I know there's stuff down there, and I'm not hearing it, and I'm not feeling it. So then I got the PB16s, sold my clips, bought the PB16s, and I'm like, oh, yeah. So I gained a couple little, and I gained more output.
Yep.
And then when I experienced, like, infrasonics, I just took it to a whole nother level. I'm like,
I mean, even for the one 4000, there's some tactile. You would be 100%. Fooled that there's butt kickers in there. Yeah. And there's not.
Yeah, no butt kickers, no tactile transducers, none of that. And we're on a concrete floor. Those of you that have basements, those of you, well, I guess not basements, those of you that are building like in a bonus room on a second floor, you're going to get the major added benefit because you're getting, basically the subwoofer is, I guess the bass waves are traveling through that, and then that's shaking physically your seats. And
I mean, your remote fell off. You're telling me
that's true.
That early, yeah.
That's true. I was sitting there and it just like fell in my lap. I'm like, dadgum. So it was vibrating enough in this big room for that to be sitting on the tray table, and it kind of walked its way off into my lap. I forgot about that. But yeah, man. But just super cool. I love doing this. I love being able to finally meet you in person, man. That's been awesome.
Yeah, man, for sure. I've been going to those Zoom calls for like a couple of years now.
So we have a good time. We pick each other's brains. You know, we talk about our upgrades. A lot of you guys ask questions, and the cool thing is I don't feel like I'm the expert. There are plenty of other guys in our Zoom calls on Patreon that know way more than I do, and the cool thing is we get to share collectively that those experiences, that knowledge base, and begin to kind of like that iron sharpens iron deal to where I'm helping you or you're teaching me, and this person's sharing their experience, and we just get to grow together. And so I might even mention it in this video. So I've been working on something. What we are missing in Florida is we don't have an organized like get-togethers. I'm working on that. More than likely, I'm just going to start it in January. December is probably going to be a difficult time, but maybe I can promote it through December. So I want you to be a part of that.
Definitely.
Come to my house. We're going to invite some of you guys to come to my house. I may have to limit it just because my room's it's pretty
6
small.
seats, yeah.
So maybe I'll do like 10 people at a time. But the thought is I'll do the first one to kind of show like, all right, this is kind of what a get together looks like. We'll have some snacks, we'll do some demos, and I want to document, I want to film it. And then, all right, maybe Benny's got a cool home theater over in Orlando. So we may go to his the next month. Then Mike, you might open up your home. We'll go to your house, and then we'll go to whoever's. We'll go down to Chuck's and see him. There's a lot of cool home theaters in this area, and but I think we can begin to organize that, because one of the things that you guys always mention to me is, Michael, I don't know anybody in my area, like nobody. I'm like the Lone Ranger over here building my theater room for me, but I would love to be able to meet some Mikes in my life, to be able to talk about it and build a friendship and make some relationships. So that is something that my heart is beating, like I want to make that happen. And so I finally just made the decision. I'm like, look, it's time. I need to stop thinking about it and dreaming about it. I've got the ability to do it, and I need to be the first one to initiate it in our area. And then once we get that group established, I want to help you guys and kind of create a pathway of being able to start that in your state. And there, in Florida, we've got kind of like North Florida, Central Florida, and Southern Florida or South Florida. So more than likely there may be like 3 main areas. And but I want to create a resource to where you can go to our website and you can search for your state and you can get connected with people that are in your state. So I'm going to make that happen. It's going to start in January. So if you're interested in that, hang tight, because I think it's going to be cool, and I think it'll change the industry, because now we're able to connect with people other than just a Facebook group. I'll get a chance to go hang out with Mike and go eat dinner with him and come get to know his family and listen to his system, and he gets to listen to mine. I get to meet other people in the hobby, and I think that's one of the things that we're missing in this industry. And I have the privilege and the ability and the platform, so I might as well utilize it, and I might as well do something that can make that happen. And so I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
I wasn't even planning on saying that. So
the hobby's at its most fun when you can share it with other people.
100%.
I spend a lot of time with my own theater, and then once I've kind of made it a plan where, like, every time I go to plan a vacation, let's go reach out to someone. Let's see who has a theater. Let's go do that, because
that's awesome.
It's cool. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things, like, I didn't really know what flat sub sounded like, how it's kind of more of like a feeling sensation. I only ever knew that because I got to feel other people's theaters, and when I nail the calibration, I can be like, hey, this feels like Jeremy's theater. This feels like, again, I got 12-inch subs. I ain't getting that far, but I can still make my couch shake and feel that it's flat and verify it with, REW. And so those are the things that you learn from being with other people, especially ones with better theater than yours. So that's always my recommendation, is find someone with a crazy theater and book some time on their calendar.
Yeah.
Because you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot on top of just enjoyment, I feel like.
Super cool, man. Well, it's getting late. It is probably, what is it, like almost 11?
Almost 11.
Yeah, so like 10:50, 10:40. I've got a ton of reviews in right now. Just got a brand new 2.1 system in today, literally. I've got 4 remotes that I'm going to be, literally, I've got to dive into that deep. Unfolded Circle reached out to me. Oh, nice. They're going to send me the remote 3. I've got a Haptique RS90 I want to dive deep into. Sofa Baton just sent me the X2.
Nice.
And then I've got an Ava Cinema remote. And so I want to find out what is the Harmony replacement. And then whatever we decide, of course, we're going to reach out to the brand and say, look, we love your product. I think we could sell a ton of these. We're going to buy them, stock them, ship them, and just repeat this process with everything in the home theater. That's the whole purpose of Obsessed Home Theater, is I'm obsessed with figuring out for you guys the recommendations, because I realize you don't have the ability that I do to get these products in, to compare a Marantz with a Denon with an Onkyo. You don't have the opportunity to get 5 subwoofers from 5 different manufacturers and test them and play with them and really just say, okay, if it were me, which one would I buy? And where we started with Obsessed Home Theater is what's in my theater room, because this has been a 20-year journey of where I've gotten to. And so now we're looking at other things like, all right, what are some of the budget friendly? Because not everybody starts here. But you know what? This might be where you want to be in 10 years or 5 years or 2 years. But we also need to get some of the entry level, the stuff that sounds really good, but is definitely way more attainable and easier to, to build a system around, especially if you're starting out. So we're chasing that. Of course, we've got a couple of days left for Black Friday, so we still got some deals going on. We got free shipping on your whole order. And then on top of that, we've got 5% off on JTR, 10% off on Red Atom racks. We got 10% off on Mini DSP. You mentioned that earlier. We got 2 products there, the Mini DSP UMic 1 and the 2x4 HD. And I'm probably missing another one in there. I think there's one more brand that we've got 10% off. And then the rest is free shipping on it, because some of the brands that we carry, like JVC, we can't discount them. Kaleidescape, we can't discount them. If you're interested in anything, though, send me an email, youthman@obsessedhometheater.com. Be glad to have a conversation with you, maybe help you build your dream and build it one component at a time.
Awesome.
So cool. Well, guys, hope you have an incredible week. God bless. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, of course,
awesome,
man.
dude.
Thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah. We'll do this again. I'm going to have you over at my house.
Yeah, definitely. Let's blast.